Hey everybody, it's Susan with Susan Monroe Art, and it has been a hot minute since I've been back on YouTube. I've been super busy with lots of things in my life, but now I'm happy to be back on here. Me and my friend Keisha, who shares my spare bedroom studio. And today I thought I would talk a little bit about masking fluid. It's been a long time since I've done a masking fluid video, and it's just such an important part of watercolor. I want to let you know the 3 ways I like to use masking fluid. My 3 favorite ways to apply it and the different situations they're good for. So let's get busy. But before we do, I want to remind you to please like this video if you enjoyed the content, and please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell icon to be notified whenever I put up a new video. Thanks for watching, and now I'm really going to get talking about masking fluid. So before I get to talking about how to use masking fluid, I thought it'd be good to just quickly say what masking fluid is. And masking fluid is a thin, gummy substance, sort of like rubber cement, or it's about the consistency of Elmer's glue, and you put it on your watercolor paper to preserve the white of your paper. You can't use white paint in watercolor, so the white you need in your painting has to be white of the paper, and it's really easy when you're painting to accidentally paint over something that you wanted to keep white. And so you can put masking fluid on it to make sure that those places stay white. And the type of masking fluid I use right now is called PBO drawing gum. And I really like it. I like the blue color of it. It's easy to see when it's down. I've also used the Winsor Newton brand of masking fluid, which is a yellow, or you can get it that's just white. I like both of those as well. You know, just experiment and find what you like. You can get them on Amazon or at any art supply store. And I'll just open it up so you can see. See, it's just a little thin liquid, I guess like milk or glue. And then when I want to use it, I've already put some down here. You can use it to preserve thin lines and places that are more delicate in your painting. You can cover larger areas with it. Whatever you need to do to keep places white. You can keep places white and then paint over them later. You know, say you want to leave spaces white and paint them yellow afterwards, you could do that. You could paint it yellow and put the masking fluid over it. It's just preserving whatever is underneath, but it's most often used to preserve white. So I've put a little Payne's Gray on here, and this is masking fluid I've already applied, and that's dry. You never want to paint over wet masking fluid. It'll make a mess and it'll ruin your brush. Also, you never want to put masking fluid on damp paper. It will rip your paper. So let me dry these really quickly, and then I'm going to take the masking fluid off, and you can see how it's preserved the white areas underneath wherever I've applied it. So now my paint is dry. I dried it with my hair dryer, and you can use your finger to remove the masking fluid just by gently rubbing. You can see how that's preserved the white of the paper underneath. I've seen people use the wooden end of their paintbrush sometimes to push the masking fluid off if they don't want to do it with their finger. To me, that is not as easy to do, but there are some people that really like that, especially if the brush has a flattened end to it. What I typically use is a rubber cement pickup. This one is really old. They are much nicer looking when they're new, and it's got a lot of old rubber cement stuck around the side. But you just basically rub it across the paper, and it does exactly what it says, rubber cement pickup, and it will pick up the rubber cement. And I'll put a link to this and a link to this drawing gum in the description underneath my video if anyone's interested in getting those. So the first way, and probably the most common way that I apply masking fluid, is with an ink pen. This is no special ink pen. I picked it up, I think I was in Barnes & Noble, and they had them, so I picked this one up there. And you would use it just like a dip ink pen in ink. I dip it in. I always gently wipe off any extra. And then you can use this for fine lines. I'm going to write the word ink pen on here. You can use it for delicate areas like leaves in flower painting, anywhere where you need a more delicate touch. I can make very, very fine lines with it. It's easy to make circles, all types of shapes, and you can fill in areas with it. It's just not its strong suit. I would never use this to fill in a large area though, just a small area. You can see I have to keep redipping, and you never want to press down hard on the paper while you're using this pen. Number one, it can split the end of the pen that holds the ink or masking fluid, and you can score the paper. It can make marks on the paper, so you don't want to do that. The second way I like to use masking fluid is with a brush. And typically I save an old brush and use it for my masking fluid. This brush is a nice brush, but the end's got a little worn. So I put some tape on it so I would know that this is my masking fluid brush to differentiate it from my other brushes like this. And a big problem people have frequently is that they ruin the brush when they use the masking fluid. It's literally like putting glue on your brush, and you can't get it off. The best way to protect your brush when you're using masking fluid is with soap. This is just a bar of regular soap, and I will wet my brush and really get it full of soap. Don't worry that the soap's going to hurt your masking fluid. It's not. It's not going to dilute it or anything. I just want to really get it all in the bristles here. Okay. Then I'm going to dip it into my masking fluid, and I would use this technique to cover large areas, large places in the background. Say I'm painting a large background. I could use masking fluid to protect the entire foreground of the painting. Then I can go into the background with splashes and washes and a lot of wet stuff if I want to, knowing that the front part of the painting, the foreground, is going to be protected and will not have any splashes or marks from the background in it. Then I can take my masking fluid off and just paint the foreground. It's a great technique. So here I've filled a pretty big area with that, and you can see I can dip it in quite a few times before I have to rinse it off and then reapply the soap. And then I could just go back in. I like to put my masking fluid on a little more thickly. It does take longer to dry that way, but I'm sure everything is covered then, and I don't have to worry that I've missed a spot. All right. So the brush is a great way to cover larger areas in your painting. And look, I'm going to rinse it off, and no masking fluid. It's still usable. The brush is in great condition for an old brush, and I can use it again and again to apply my masking fluid. And the final way I want to discuss using masking fluid is with a ruling pen. This is a drafting pen, a drafter's ruling pen. It comes from a drafting set that I have, an old drafting set, but you can buy them on Amazon. I'll link to that down below in my description. And it's great for really doing straight lines. You can also do circles with them. I've done plenty of those, but really the strong point with this is doing straight lines. So you can turn this screw to open the tip to make a wide line, or to narrow it down to make a thin line. Okay. Then if I'm going to use my masking fluid, notice I always shut my masking fluid when it's not in use, even for a little bit, because it can dry out and get a scum on the top, and that is not a good thing. So I'm going to dip it. I'm going to wipe it off on here, and then gently pull it along to make some nice straight lines. As I said, it's easy to make circles as well, but the strong point with this is straight lines. I could also use a ruler. This is a ruler with a piece of foam on the back to lift it off the paper. When I really need a super straight line, I'll use my drafting pen. Be sure to wipe it off. And then I can run it along the ruler to be sure I get an absolutely straight line. That is a great way to use your drafting pen. Then I just rinse it off I always make sure to open it all the way up and wipe out the inside. I don't know if this would rust, but I don't want it to. Just make sure there's, I'm having a hard time getting it in there. Make sure there's no dried masking fluid left on the inside. And also I want to be sure that I don't leave any masking fluid on the screw up here, because that would gum up the threads in the screw and make it difficult to open and close. So I see a little masking fluid on the inside here. I can take the screw all the way out if I need to, but I've got pretty small fingers. I'm just going to stick them in there, and I can wipe off that extra masking fluid. Okay. So that is my third way that I apply masking fluid. I've seen people use other ways. I've seen people do it with sticks and the ends of brushes, with branches, with saran wrap. You know, it all depends on what type of texture you want, what you're doing with it. But for me, in my paintings, these are the three most common ways I use it. So let me make sure all this is dry, then I'm going to paint over it and remove it, and you can see the results. All right, I've dried it. Now I am going to choose my favorite colors to paint over each one. Turquoise blue, go over this one. I think I will use Scarlet Lake to go around this big one. Why not make this into a flower? Sort of a messy flower, but it'll be a flower. So the masking fluid would be protecting the center of my flower. I can take it up and then I can work on the center part of my flower if I wanted to, okay? And then I'm going to use a sap green for the straight lines. If you hear noise in the background, I'm sorry. Someone's got a leaf blower going outside, and there's no escaping them in my neighborhood. They go, I think they go 24/7. So sorry about the background noise. Here we go. All right. Now I'm going to dry these and remove the masking fluid. Okay, the paint is dry. I dried it with my hairdryer, and now I'm going to use my rubber cement pickup. And just rub it across. There you go. Pick it up here. Let's go for this big area here. That'd be an easy area to get off with your finger. I have a little, no, I thought I had a little dot there. I think that's a little wet paint. Look, I did a great job of protecting all that white paper, and the paper is smooth and pristine, no damage. I could paint on it easily. And then here. So there you go. 3 handy and useful ways to use masking fluid. I hope this will help you in your painting. If you have any questions about using the masking fluid, or any suggestions for other videos you'd like for me to do, please put them below in the comment section. I love to read the comments. It really encourages me to do more videos, and I always make sure to answer people. I try to do it in a timely fashion as well. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, again, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon so you can be notified when I put up another video. And now some other videos are going to pop up after this, and if you're interested in seeing more of my stuff, you can click on one of those. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.